You ever have one of those mornings that start out so perfect, you almost start getting suspicious, like life is setting you up for something? Yeah, that was me. I'm standing there on my porch, mug in hand, steam curling up in the cool air, just taking in that peaceful hush you only get out in the country. Mist creeping between the pines at the edge of my property, birds arguing over breakfast, and the only thing louder than my thoughts is the neighbor's old dog barking a squirrel. After years of chasing apartment leases and patching up used cars, I finally landed this place. A couple acres outside a small town where everybody claims to love community, waving when they drive by, bringing cookies at Christmas, you know the drill. And for a little while, it actually was peaceful. Until the HOA came knocking right on my front door, clipboard in hand, big shiny grins plastered across their faces like some kind of sales pitch. You know the type. They show up with welcome pamphlets and let's all stick together speeches, promising neighborhood unity, keeping everything beautiful. But I figured out real quick that unity just means do it our way or else. First, it was little things, finding folks for leaving their trash cans out 15 minutes past pickup or telling you your roses don't match the approved color palette. You learn to keep your head down, pay your dues, keep your yard respectable, and hope you fly under the radar. And then, one Saturday morning, the quiet shattered, and I mean shattered by the thunder of heavy machinery. At first, I figured it was road work, maybe someone finally fixing that pothole halfway down the block. But as the noise got louder, I grabbed my jacket and wandered down the gravel path toward my fence, and that's when I froze. There's a whole construction crew unloading right on my land. My old private property sign is buried under a pile of 2x4s. And one of the guys actually waves at me like it's the most normal thing in the world. "Morning," he shouts like we're old friends. I call out, probably louder than I meant. "Hey, you sure you're in the right spot?" The foreman, stocky guy in a neon vest, just shrugs and says, "Yeah, HOA approved a community garden here. Shouldn't take long." I couldn't help myself. I just started laughing. "Buddy, this isn't community land. This is my backyard." Now he looks uncomfortable, staring at his boots. "Look, I just follow orders. You got an issue, take it up with the board." So I do. I go inside and call Cheryl, HOA president, local royalty, the type who could give a masterclass in condescension. When she answers, her voice is so sweet, it could give you a cavity, which always means trouble. "Cheryl," I say, try and keep my cool. "There are men digging on my land." "You want to explain that?" She barely misses a beat. "Oh, that area technically falls under the community expansion zone," she says, like she's reciting a grocery list. "We're building a public garden. It's for everyone's benefit." I shoot back. "For everyone except the guy who actually owns the land, right?" She sighs, real dramatic, like she's talking to a child. "Don't be so individualistic, Mark. This neighborhood thrives on community spirit." I repeat, community spirit doesn't include stealing someone's yard, Cheryl. She gives a fake little laugh. "We'll talk at the next board meeting." That's when I knew I was in for it. I hang up, storm back inside, dig out my property docs, survey, deed, taxes, every last scrap of proof I own that patch of dirt. And when I come out again, the foreman's got a backhoe idling on my grass. I walk right up, heart pounding, and say, "Shut it down." Now, he looks at the crew, then back at me, and finally kills the engine. I guess Cheryl could sense things weren't going her way, because 20 minutes later, her silver Lexus floats up my drive, storm cloud rolling in. She steps out, pearls and heels, wearing a smile sharp enough to slice bread. "Mark," she purrs, "you're creating unnecessary conflict. The board already voted on this." I stare her down. "Without my consent. And on my land." She doesn't even blink. "It's for the neighborhood's good. You can't just isolate yourself." "Isolate?" Now I'm laughing. "You're trespassing, Cheryl." She crosses her arms, all business. "You're violating community harmony." That phrase hits me like a punchline. Harmony? You're literally destroying my property line. That's when I did what I should have done from the start. I called the cops. Not to make a scene, just to get someone who'd actually look at a map. When the officer showed up, I handed over my deed, pointed out the surveyor's pins, even showed the tax records. Cheryl's there too, standing just a little too close, pretending to be unbothered, but her hands are shaking. The officer's polite, professional, tells the workers to pack up until the whole thing gets sorted out legally. Cheryl gives me a smile that's all teeth, leans in, and says, "You'll regret this." I probably would have shrugged it off, but about a week later, I get a thick envelope in the mail, stamped official notice. Inside, it's all caps, HOA versus Mark Thompson. They're suing me. The charges? Obstruction of community development and violation of neighborhood unity. I nearly spit out my coffee. Court day rolls around, and there's Cheryl, flanked by 2 other board members and a lawyer who looks like he charges extra every time he smirks. He stands up, all theatrical, and says, "Your Honor, this man has hindered a community-approved project meant to enhance the neighborhood." The judge, bless him, just raises an eyebrow. On his own property, their lawyer grins. Technically, it's a gray area. I'm up next. I lay down every document I have, show the judge my deed, my tax bill, my fence, everything. The judge barely glances at Cheryl. The defendant is the rightful owner. Case dismissed. Cheryl's face goes so red, I almost feel bad. Almost. Thought that was the end of it. Yeah, me too. But victory, it turns out, has a short shelf life when you're dealing with an HOA queen. A few days later, I start getting these warning letters. Grass too tall by half an inch. Driveway needs pressure washing. Mailbox not the exact shade of pearl gray. Every week, a new complaint, a new threat. It's harassment in a suit and tie, but still harassment. At first, I try to ignore it, but one night around 9 p.m., I see flashlights bobbing near my fence. I step out. There's Cheryl and her cronies, tape measure in hand, pretending to document something on my property. "Lose something," I yell. They scurry off like raccoons caught in the trash. That's when I knew it wasn't just about the land anymore. It was personal. So I get serious. Cameras on every corner. Every letter, every visit, every weird little inspection. I document it all. After 3 months, my folder looks like something out of a true crime docuseries. Photos, timestamps, the works. I send the whole mess to the County Housing Commission with a cover letter that basically says, either help or tell me who's supposed to. A couple weeks later, I get a call from a county investigator. "Mr. Thompson, you weren't exaggerating. They've overstepped big time." Turns out, my case wasn't the only one. The HOA had been finding and fining folks all over for things they weren't legally allowed to touch. Mine just happened to be the worst. County steps in, slaps them with a ruling. Full reimbursement to every single homeowner they screwed over, plus damages for stress, which, let me tell you, feels pretty sweet after 3 months of mailbox dread. But I'm not done yet. That patch of land Cheryl tried so hard to take, I decided to donate it, not to the HOA, but to the local youth center. They wanted to build a little garden for kids to learn about vegetables and teamwork, not just for show. Day of the ribbon cutting. Who shows up but Cheryl, trying to act all cheerful for the local newspaper. I shake her hand and say, loud enough for the whole crowd, "Now, this is real community spirit." Her jaw clenches so hard you could crack walnuts on it. Funny thing, after that, it all just stops. No more warning letters. No more late-night measuring. Folks start waving again, dropping by with casseroles, asking about my tomatoes. I think people finally realize standing up for yourself doesn't make you a troublemaker. It just means you don't let people walk all over you. So yeah, the HOA sued me, tried to drown me in rules and fake smiles, but in the end, they built their own downfall brick by brick. And if you've ever felt cornered by people who hide behind titles and rules, just remember, real power isn't about who yells the loudest or writes the most warnings. It's about how steady you stand when they come for what's yours. If you stuck with me this far, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't, and drop a comment below. I want to know, where's the line for you? When does community cross over into control? Ever tangled with an HOA? Or with somebody who just couldn't mind their own business? Let's get into it, because trust me, you don't want to miss what happened the next time they try to test me. That story's got even more fireworks.